What's poppin', my loves? What y'all doing? But over here in my business, I'm just playing, y'all. What's up? Got hot. So, today, I am on my way to Oakland. Well, Berkeley, technically. And then Anaheim. But before I started my travels for the day, I was led to do a video, okay? Today is not necessarily a reading. I don't know if I'll be led to pull any cards. I have some oracles right here. We'll see though. But I kind of want to give y'all a little insight on my story, right? And I'm just clearing the energy. You can center your energy, get comfortable. Listen, take what resonates, leave what doesn't. Same energy. We are all protected as we, are indulging in this story and the lessons that lie within, okay? So, lately, the vibe and the theme that I've been led to kind of just talk on or address as like a healer, life coach, it has really been the great severing, right? Dark night of the soul. For some people, it's like the great severing triggered the dark night of the soul, depending on which relationship we're talking about, what stage, each personal story to each his own, right? So, I want to tell y'all about the last kind of like great severing that I had in my journey that kind of pushed me, here. Some people, like if you know me personally and you watching this video, you may already know this story. But a lot of people don't know this story, They don't know what happened. They just know they looked up and I just was gone, like it just disappeared. So in 2019, this was circa, I say between, when was this? When did I get that call? Between June and August, I think. I was in rehearsals for Jacqueline Carr. I had gotten a call to do her live recording. And if you don't know who that is, she's a gospel performing artist. Very, very beautiful singing. Beautiful soul as well. My beautiful sister. But yeah, so I was in rehearsals for this. Now, mind you, in 2019, I was married, right? Still married at this point. I had just had my second daughter. I have two daughters. My oldest is about to be 10, and then my baby girl just turned 3. But at the time, she was 6 months, I believe, when like all this was going on. So around September, the end of September, right? This was the time when I separated from my ex-husband. So it was like, okay, so we went through this phase, right? And there were a lot of things. Let me say this too. One of the biggest lessons, morals of this story, before step 1, write this down. Because just go with me here. It's going to be a lot of lessons in this. One of the biggest lessons is you know the truth about a person always. Your discernment is always going to tell you who a person truly is, right? But when the person, or when your discernment allows you to see that person for who they are, when that person shows you who they are, you have a choice to make each and every time. So most of us, if we're talking about being in a karmic situation, we're, for whatever reason, choosing something that is not helping us. Like, we're making the decision based off of something that's not helping us, right? So we continue to stay and be with these people, stay in these connections, stay in these cycles. So leading up to this point, y'all, 1 week into the relationship, and again, if y'all follow me on platforms, follow me on everything, it's gonna be below. So y'all can really get an understanding of who I am, because I don't want y'all to just, jump in at a random point, because I do so many things, y'all. And there's so many different ways it's gonna resonate differently with everybody who likes what, but I exercise all my gifts in each and every way. But I want y'all to know that everything is me. All of them is me, okay? So it's still me. But I talked about before on a couple of different occasions how, I went through, the domestic violence along with all of the other mental, emotional, energetic abuse, like all of that. And I'm like, I got hella stories for y'all. Anyway, at that time, 1 week after we started dating, right? Like, this guy, I had known him for 9 years, since high school. And it was so crazy because we already had this little weird toxic off and on. Like, we would be cool, then we wouldn't talk for months, then we would get back cool. And every time we wouldn't talk, it was because we was falling out over some weird ego crap, right? Every single time. But for whatever reason, just kept, So eventually it got to the point to where it was like, man, I feel like we supposed to, at least try it out, dating or whatever. So we just casually get together. And mind you, according to my normal standard, right? This is already me compromising. Here's the second lesson. Write this down. Don't ever compromise who you are and what you need to be okay in life to have somebody. I don't care who it is. If that person, whether they are willingly asking you to change something about yourself, or something about their personality causes you to, have to dim down or change something about them to, to make them feel more comfortable, already know that's not a person for you, right? Or that's not somebody that can fit in the caliber of, I guess you could say, relationships type that you're trying to put them in. Like, example, you're trying to make somebody be bae, that should be just a colleague, or or just your friend, or whatever. Just it could have just been a one time we were supposed to meet, have a really good vibe, and then go about our way and never see each other again, whatever. The point being, if the puzzle piece ain't fitting and you ain't comfortable, that's the first standard always. If you're not comfortable, it's not for you, honey. And that's not anything that's a bad thing. That's why we come around, we allow our discernment to read people and judge and to understand what energy is for you. Because it's not even about the package that they're presenting to you. You always know the truth of what it is. Even when they think they are hiding and covering up. And no, you see it, And I knew. I always knew. Always. And I would never act like I did it. So 1 week into the relationship, right? And I'm already knowing the anger problems, they're drinking, I've been seeing that, right? We would go back and forth about this sometimes, because I'm like, and at this point, y'all, I'm super saved. I'm still kind of in church. I'm asking questions, and I'm just kind of I'm in that weird space, but I'm still in there, right? So I'm hitting niggas with Bible verses you shouldn't do this and blah, 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 blah. The stuff that I'm hearing and I'm learning, right? So we would heavily get into it about that. But in my mind, and I would say this too, in my past, and a part of another lesson I had to learn was I was a toxic fixer. That was my toxic trait. I felt like I could fix people. I felt like I could be good enough to them, show them the way to do. I felt like I could nitpick enough, or, whatever, to get people to do what they need to do, or see the, the good within them. Because that was always my goal, right? With anybody. Even now, I don't force it on people, but I just want you to know whenever you come in my presence, you're not going to leave and not be encouraged. You're not going to leave and not feel loved. You're not going to leave and, not have upgraded in some sort of way or healed in some sort of way, because that's just what I do. And I had to learn that, it's not about, something being wrong with who I am. It's about how I'm using that gift, learning how to use that in the right way. And to understand that if a motherfucker don't want to do it for them, baby, nothing you can give will help, okay? But me not understanding this lesson at that time, right? I'm here. And this particular night, the entire day, I was there, right? I stayed the weekend. I was supposed to stay the weekend. And so, the whole day, he had this weird toxic relationship with his, his son's mother or whatever. They would go back and forth. And with his mama too. Because that was her man, essentially. So, it was some other stuff going on that day. He was with, some of his friends or whatever that was fixing on something throughout the day. And so, he was getting frustrated because they was calling him about something. And it was just it was a whole lot going on. And I could see, what was happening, right? He was getting real, real mad. And not just getting real, real mad, but it's drinking with it too. So it's I see it kind of just, going there. But he ain't really just sticking it to him straight like that, which he never did, right? So we going through the day. And mind you, I knew him, right? We was really, really cool at first. It wasn't no none of those type feelings at all. We was cool. So that meant I knew everything, right? And he didn't even tell me everything, but I knew a lot about stories and stuff like that, what was going on. So I knew what type of person he was. And even when I got with him and I told him that, I was like, I'm taking a real big risk because one or two things can happen. You can do me the same way I know you be doing all these other females, or you can understand what's going on and actually do right by this. I was like, but I'm going to trust that you're going to do right by it, right? And we had this straightforward conversation. There was no courting. There was no pursuing. There was none of that. It was almost all right, we finna do this. It was that. So I'm already knowing, what I'm dealing with, right? So we were supposed to go with his roommate's co-worker to some little gathering or something they was supposed to be having, right? But at the last minute, he was like, well, I'm about to run to the casino with my other friend or whatever. And I'm just at the house. And I was like, well, I'll just hop in the car with so-and-so. And we'll just hit the spot and then y'all just meet us there. So me not knowing, in some kind of way, that made him mad. And I'm because I know me. I don't do nothing, right? And if you really know me, and which I'm thinking again, if we doing this, we on the same page, we thinking the same way. So I'm getting to know you, you getting to know me, and I don't play that. We ain't doing none of that. I don't cheat. Never. I don't cheat. So I guess in his mind, along with everything else that was going on, all the drinking, it was just stirred apart, act a fool. So we go to the party, the little dinner. It wasn't even a party, it was literally a little dinner. It was me and another lady there that worked with them, and it was a couple of the bros. Now, if you know me, here's something you should know about me. I am the homie, okay? I'm the pretty homie. I don't play them games. If I say somebody is my friend, they are my friend, and I don't have sex with my friends. I don't, that's just not me. I am the homie, right? So we get there, and of course, at first they oh, what's up? And I'm like, nah, I'm taking, So from there, we literally just having casual conversation, everybody just talking, we kicking it. We sitting at the table. They had ordered some shots or whatever. And so At some point when we all like sitting there looking at the menus and everything, them two come busting in. My ex and his friend from the casino come in lit, drunk, like sit at the table. Now, mind you, he think he hiding this, right? Insecure. Very, 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 very insecure. So as soon as he comes in, he sees like that there's the men outnumber the two ladies that was there, right? So he come in and he like just all over me. Mind you, this is not him. Never does this. But at this point, it's like we overdoing it. Like we trying to prove a point. And we lit. And I'm not okay. Because I'm not lit. I'm not drinking. Like I don't drink. So it's like, bro, what are you doing? Well, you know. So I put the menu up like in a movie scene. Like, you're like, what are you doing? Like, are you embarrassing me? Like, what's happening right now? And so, never, you know, you can't reject an insecure person in front of people. It's never gonna end well, right? So that makes him mad. He gets up in the middle of all, like, people are watching this, right? Everybody trying to play it cool, but we see this. This is happening because he's making a scene. He get up, storm around the table, go sit on the little wall by his, you know, friend or whatever. So they order me a shot, and I told them not to. I was like, I told y'all I'm not drinking. They was like, no, you gotta take a shot. And so he was like, I'll take it. And I'm like, no, like, you're not taking anything, bro. Like, you're done. You're done, okay? It's not happening. So I get up, I grab the shot, and I went to the bathroom and I poured it out. You know, at this point, I'm a little livid. I'm mad. At this point, I'm in the bathroom, like, counting, like, praying, all of the above. Go back out there. So eventually, they dip off right early. He all on Snapchat. We about to go get some hoes. You know, just being just real. Just petty. Just, oh, God. Anyway, so, finally, the dinner over. And then me and the roommate go back to the house or whatever. And I'm like, yo, I'm about to roll out and go back home. And he was like, are you sleepy? And I'm like, yeah, I'm sleepy. Because this was probably like 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. Something like that, right? I was like, yeah, I'm pretty sleepy. He was like, bro, I can't even let you go home like that. He was like, I know you ain't really like messing with him. I know he tripping right now. He was like, but just sleep on the couch, you know. And then, like, take a nap, get it together, and then you can go and roll out, like, early in the morning. And I'm like, all right, cool. So, I get back, and I'm laying on the couch. And I walked in the room, and I could see that he had been there. He wasn't there when we got back, but I could see that he had been there or whatever. And so I go and I lay on the couch, and I'm just literally just trying to like close my eyes for a second. Maybe like a few minutes later, he come through the door or whatever. And he walked past me first. Then he walked up to me and was like, why you sleeping on the couch, right? Real with that energy. Like, we already know, like I just told y'all the story. Everybody know, if you watching the video and you listening, you know why I'm sleeping on the couch. He know why I'm sleeping on the couch, okay? So it's like, it's time to pick a fight, right? At this point, which was what was happening. So, asked me to come to the room. I'm like, no, I want to stay on the couch. He go to the room. I hear him in there like shuffling around, moving, get back, come in there again. Can you come to the bed, please? I'm like, no. He's like, why? You know, blah, 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 just trying to go back and forth. I was like, can you please just like leave me alone? Like, I really just want to go to sleep so I can like leave. Go back in there, shuffling around, right? Moving. I can hear him, like, just walking. And every time, I want y'all to know something. This is what I noticed. And it was important that I noticed this. And if you dealt with somebody that has abused you before, then you kind of understand, because there's, like, this build-up that happens, right? Every time he would come back, he would be madder and madder. Just a little bit madder. Like, it would be just a little bit more aggressive. So the last time, it was almost like, I'm going to ask you one more time type thing. And when I was like, no, again, he was like, I don't got time for this. And goes to the room, grabs all my stuff, and we're on the second floor of an apartment building. Grabs all my stuff, start throwing it out the door, right? Not down the stairs, but just like out the door on the little balcony. And so I'm still laying down on the couch, like literally watching him do this and just looking in disbelief, like, is this really happening? Because I ain't never dealt with nothing like this before, ever in my life. Ever. When I say ever, I mean ever. So I'm just kind of looking. And he was like, you need to leave. Like, after he threw all my stuff out, he looked at me and was like, you need to leave. And so before I even had time to like really sit up, like I'm still just kind of like, what's happening? He walks over to me, threw the cover off of me that was on me, grabbed me by my ankles, drugged me off the couch, like head off the floor, like ragdoll across the floor, out the door, over the threshold. Now, the entire time, me being me, I'm swinging. Because that's just what I do. Like, so we sticking, we swinging, we doing all that. And I'm just like, in my mind, it was just like, before we get to the stairs, because I didn't know if he was going to try to like throw me all, like drag me all the way down the stairs or what. Like, I didn't know what was going to happen. Because everything was happening so fast. Like, it just escalated, and it was like, we're here. So just over the threshold, outside the door, like slam the door, right? Now, mind you, right before I left the house, I had just gotten my gun, right? Pistol, 9mm. And when I was getting my stuff, I had everything in the car. Car crunked up. Car was cranked. And something was like, go get your piece. I'm like, why? Like, it's just gonna be a cool weekend. Like, what's going on? What do you mean? But I got it anyway, right? So the one thing about me, when I'm extremely mad, when I'm in my like shadow side, when I have to step into it, I'm very, very strategic and calculated. And I'm not afraid to admit that, right? Just as intelligent as I am in my light person and how I can, bring people's emotions into words to help you understand like what you're feeling and what's going on. That is how intellectual and, detailed I am when it comes to my shadow side as well, right? And again, as I said on my other videos, we step into the shadow side only to defend, protect, that type. But never to provoke, never to anything like that. But at this point in time, when I'm extremely, extremely angry, I get calm. I get very, very calm. If you could ever, because I don't argue with people now, like, and then yeah, I would go back and forth sometimes because it was like an ego thing. But now it's just like, I protect my energy. Like, we're not doing it. We're either gonna have a conversation where we understand what's happening, or we not gonna, ain't no yelling, ain't no calling out of names, ain't no none of that. I'll literally walk away in the middle of you talking if that's the energy you coming with. I don't play that, and this is why I don't play that. But at the point where I get real quiet and just like, all right, bet, and I hit you with a cool or something like that, you should be afraid. Like, even if you ain't afraid, just know something finna happen to you. And you may not know the day. Look, my blue, calm. Like, this is how calm I will be. And so, this is how calm I got after I got myself up off the ground, right? I collected my little items and put it in my suitcase or whatever. And I was like, I'm finna kill this nigga, because at this point in time, my mindset was really like, again, I had never dealt with anything like that. And so it was just very straightforward. Like, if it ever happened to me, this is what I'm going to do. And the one thing about it, baby, I'm going to keep my word. Period. I'm going to keep my word. I got to do it just because I said I was going to do it. You get what I'm saying? And at this point, it's like there's no other solution because you have put your hands on me. And it ain't like I'm skipping over anything, y'all. When I tell y'all I didn't do nothing. Nothing. I didn't miss no details, y'all. Like, literally, I was there the entire day. Like I said, I'm seeing. I'm an empathic person, right? So, especially, like, if I'm dating somebody, I'm very sensitive to your energy. I can see what's affecting you. I can see how it's making you feel, whether you tell me or not. So, I'm seeing all of this escalate within him throughout the day, right? And then I'm seeing the drinking come in and just, like, throw logic out the window. So when everything came to a peak, who was there? Me. And that's why it happened, because I was the one who was there to take it out on. You get what I'm saying? So at this point in time, like, if you ever want to make my shadow side come out, and this is probably like with anything, because I don't mess with people, y'all. Like, when I tell y'all I mind my business, I have a PhD in minding my business. I don't mess with people at all. So at the point where I feel provoked, the clap back will be real, because it's like, bro, I know I didn't do nothing to deserve this. So you really just coming at me. And at this point, if that's how you come in, now you an enemy and I got to destroy you. I don't lose. Period. I don't lose. That's how I feel. Like, I go straight into that, like, and I see 222 as I'm saying this. I go straight into, like, shadow mode. I don't lose. If I got to come fight you every day for the next 3 years, I don't lose. You know? And I just know me, like, when I go there, bro, like, it ain't no stopping me. Like, it's like, listen, let me tell you how much I understand how I am, right? I keep telling this story. So, I collect my things, I go downstairs. I was parked on one side of the building, right? Like, this is the building right here. There's a parking lot on this side, and there's a parking lot on this side. So I go, hit the corner. His car was parked over here. I go and I park behind his car so he can't leave, right? And I'm sitting in my car. Now, mind you, I had my oldest daughter at this time, but she was with her father. And so I called my friend, who at the time was working at a restaurant that was like 24 hours, so I knew she was gonna be awake, and I knew I could trust her to, like, follow these direct details, right? So I'm like, yo, I'm probably finna go to jail today, so what I need you to do, I'm supposed to pick up, you know, baby girl tomorrow. I need you to go meet, you know, so and so. Like, I'm literally, like, laying out the details, right? I'm making preparations because I already know what's finna happen. I already know. Like, I don't want to hear nothing about no spirituality, light, none of that right now. We not there. Ain't no light, no love, no peace. It's like, okay, war has been declared. Right? So, she was like, first she was like, huh. And she was like, wait, you not laughing? I was like, yeah, I'm serious. She was like, I don't know how to feel because your voice is so calm right now. Like, you not yelling or nothing. Like, I know you mad. Like, you said you real mad. But she was like, you just so calm. She was like, that's really scaring me. I was like, yeah, I know. I was like, I would be scared too because of what I'm finna do. I was like, but yeah, I'm you know, I'm different, you know. But I just need you to make sure you handle it what I told you, though, right? And she was like, okay. So in the middle of us talking, he walks down, right? Because the roommate's window is facing the side of the apartments we parked on, right? So he's looking out of the window down at me. He see me on the phone. He don't see the strap. He don't know I even got none of that. So he walked downstairs, right? Like, he walking like, you know how like a wrestler be walking to the wrestling ring? He big, right? And I was like, hold on right quick. He coming out here. Like, let me call you back. So I put the phone down. He opened my door and all he hear is like click, click. And when I tell you immediately, he was like, He was like, I'm sorry. He was like, please, like, I'm sorry. Like, he just started like, I'm sorry. Like, it was, y'all, when I tell you an instant switch. An instant switch. Here's the other lesson about karmics, right? Most of the time, the energy that they operate in, when I say it wants to destroy you, is stuff like that, right? So it uses any tactic that it thinks works, right, to keep you in this space. And for him, it was that intimidation, putting your hands on me. Any man, divine feminine, that is putting his hands on you, that is trying to, you know, mess with your mind, make you feel like you are less than who you are. Any person that's doing it to you is a person that is out to destroy you. Okay? To kill you, to take you on out of here, baby. So get out, save yourself. I ain't trying to fuss y'all, but I'm just saying, like, we can't keep painting these red flags no other color, baby. They red, blood red, honey. So an immediate change, right? Because it's like, oh, well, I didn't intimidate her enough to make her run off or do anything like that. So I'm gonna come down and but then you saw that and it's like, oh, this a whole different. So at some point, he jumps on me to take the gun out my hand, and we wrestling with the gun, y'all. Fall into the car. I had done knocked off the rearview mirror. Y'all, and when I tell y'all, I'm still trying to be calculated in the midst of all of this. This man is almost 300 probably at this time. Laying on me. And I'm still like falling over, got the gun like this. And I'm like, if I could just turn my wrist just enough to hit him in the top of his head, this is over with. This is over with. And once he knew, like, right? Because this is somebody too as well. Like, in their shadow, they operate mostly in their shadow side anyway. So always trying to like figure out ways to scheme, scam. So he understands what's going on. Like, this is a real like movie scene, like fight to the death, Mr. and Mrs. Smith literally type situation. So grab my wrist. So at this point, I'm taking the little strength I got in my wrist, pistol whipping the nigga. Like, it, when I tell you, it was crazy. My friend's still on the phone. She's screaming, hollering, like, it worked. It was crazy, y'all. Like, it was crazy. Finally gets the gun out of my hand. Take off running. Got the gun, take off running back to the house. So at this point, me being me, I call the goons. I'm like, this what we finna do? I don't hang out with no females. All I hang out with is guys. Again, because I'm the homie, right? But I'm the homie to where it's like, I'm still the pretty homie. So it's like, anytime I say I need something, like, hootie-hoo, they coming. They're coming. Like, they're coming. So I called one was at work, but the one called the other one that was around the corner and was on the way, and I'm like, he got my gun. Now, mind y'all, I finally get my friend out the phone, and I'm calling the roommate, right? And I had actually called him before I called my friend because I was trying to tell him to get out. Because what was going to happen at first is that I was going to call her, get that taken care of. I was going to go up there and just shoot the junk up. But I was going to tell him to get out first because I didn't want him to get hit, right? But when him coming down, it just kind of threw everything off. So when he took the gun, he finally went in there and woke up the roommate because he's scared, right? He went in there, she tried to shoot me, and blah, 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 blah. Like, he ain't did nothing. Like, he ain't did nothing, right? So I'm seeing this entire cycle. Telling this story for a reason. I'm seeing this entire cycle. I'm watching everything, and I'm observing who this person really is. I'm seeing this in the rawest form. 1 week, 7 days into saying that we were supposed to be dating together, whatever. And somewhere along the line, I end up taking him back. After knowing. Now, me being who I was at that time, there was a lot of talking and convincing and lying to myself that I had to do to make myself even be okay with doing it. Because again, my sense of understanding and pride and standard at that time, and where it should have remained, is that we would never, ever, you get what I'm saying? If it was to happen, if you was to happen to, live to tell the story in which God spared your life, just know that you will never have the opportunity to do it again. But here I was, right? So we fast forward again to the end of this marriage, right? I knew who this person was. This had been it, and that scared him enough for that time to where he would never try to put his hands on me again for that, the period that we were married and together. But when I tell you in every other way, energetically especially, there was abuse. There was like pew, 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 licks, dragging, all of that, with edge snatch, everything, all of that. It was all of that still. So getting to this point now to where it was like, I can't do this no more. Like my literal body, everything is just like, I can't do it. Folks thought I was on crack because I was just like this small. I was straight, like, he was supposedly working out of town at the time, right? Had this newborn baby, had a C-section, all by myself, like everything. I would ask for help. Sometimes people would come by and visit for a few hours, and watch the baby, and while I kind of do some other things, or sleep or whatever. But it was never anything that was just like consistent. Like, how some mothers would come and literally like move in and live in and just be like, take care of the baby. Like, you go take care of yourself and breastfeed or whatever. I didn't have that. Didn't have him there, hardly ever. So at that point, it was like so much was on me. I remember that it was just such a draining feeling. And that's what a lot of y'all have felt, from with these situations and people that you had this great severing from, right? It was such a draining situation that for whatever reason you kept telling yourself or convincing yourself that, just make it work. You just got to try to make it work. But eventually God was like, no, it's not. New cycle me, please. Okay, so I knew at that point that it was getting there, right? We had the separation because it was like a moment for me, a realization. I was just like, no. And we had a very, very clear talk, and I was just like, the way I feel in this moment, like, it's really over. But I was like, with us being married and with me having that type of like, okay, all right, like, one more chance. Like, that was my energy at that time. I like, get this right. Separated for like 3 weeks. Literally, like, he went to stay with his mama. And, eventually he was like, I gotta come back. I'm like, okay, cool. Because he was paying all the bills at the time I was staying at home. And which is what he asked me to do. So, told y'all before I was singing with Jacqueline Carr, and we finally get to the point to where we're about to be in Atlanta for the live recording. Now, mind you, I told you for 6 weeks leading up to this, everybody knew this was going on. Baby was 6 months, and my oldest was there. My oldest lived with me at the time, or lived with us at the time. And so we had everybody on standby, who was going to keep who, and, as far as the kids and all of that with his work schedule, grandmamas, everybody. We already knew what was going on, right? So the Thursday before I was due to leave, right? And mind you as well, I had a weekend planned with some of my friends or whatever. So that weekend and the following week, I was pretty much supposed to be gone. And this was something that was really, really good for me at the time because I had so much on me, right? It's a good experience. I love singing. I am a singer. I'm an artist, but I had never done anything to where I was like going out of town for like a live recording. Everything was kind of like, within the city. Or I have been out of town, but that was like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was a little bit different on a bigger platform. So it was supposed to be just like a good time for me, or like a release, right? But not knowing the entire time, like, people is jealous and mad that I got this opportunity. The people that I mess with, right? My family, my folks. So the Thursday before, he had gone to do something. I was at home. And we were at this time kind of in the stages of like rebuilding it, trying to get it back together, right? And so he came, he was like, I want to talk. Well, he sent me a text when he was on the way home. He was like, we need to talk when I get home. I'm like, okay, cool. And I'm not thinking nothing of it because we done had so many talks during this time. Like, maybe it's just another, let's just put it out there type thing. So I'm like, can you grab me some fries from Zaxby's on the way? I ain't, normal stuff, right? Get home, he was like, I want to get a divorce. I want to cut all ties. He was like, I'm going to pay the bills for 1 more month. At the end of the month, either you can leave or I'll leave. He was like, I had an older child. He had an older son. And then we had the baby girl together while we were married. And he was like, at the end of all of this, well, not even at the end. He was like, we can cut ties with the kids and all that. I don't got to talk to, so-and-so. And I was like, well, no, I built their relationship. You don't really get to say, that I can't talk to him. Like, if you don't want to talk to my baby, please don't. Please don't leave her alone. But, that ain't, it was like, okay, cool. But, it's impossible to please you and blah, blah, blah. Like, he gave this whole little, I could tell he practiced it. He practiced it, honey. And mind you, 3 weeks before that, I had prayed for one more sign, right? And this is what I say in my other videos, right? If you following along with me and you in this great severing and you just keep knocking your head up against this same wall and this same old raggedy cycle with these same raggedy people, and you keep like one more sign, that was me. But if the sign didn't pull up on me like what's up, here you go, there it was sitting on the couch telling me. And when everything was said and done, I said, anything else? No. I said, okay. And I got up and I just started bagging and packing stuff. And at that point in time, y'all, I had so much stuff that I wasn't even touching, doing anything with, because I had lost so much weight I couldn't even fit half of my clothes. And I had already, we had been having conversations and talking about, just taking a leap of faith. The thing that I already felt, what I had to do by myself, I was trying to do with everybody, right? Like, I wanted him to be on the same page with me. Like, we could do this together. We could start a new life. We can fulfill these dreams. We can really, build a foundation together. We can really build a dynasty, kingdom, get this money, be entrepreneurs, all of that. Like, that was my mindset now, essentially. But, like, that was even then. That's always been me. As a child, my imagination has always been, because I'm meant to be a manifester and a dreamer in this realm, realistically speaking. So it always has to be like that for me, baby. It always got to be a little saucy. It always got to be a little shiny, a little glittery. My jacket is infrared, baby. It's shining. I have sparkly diamonds all over my shoes, and they're white. You get what I'm saying? Like, that's my energy. If you cut my soul open, it's probably glittery on the inside. Because God made me like that. Extra, honey. So I was never okay with the basic life or just getting by or poverty mindset. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. Couldn't do it. So at that point, it was just like, bro, pray for the sign. If the sign ain't more clearer, here it is. So I was just like, okay. Didn't know what to do, but I just started packing, like a waiting to exhale moment. And was just taking loads of stuff to the dumpster. I ain't even, try to donate nothing. I was just like, get rid of it. And I had already made up in my mind, because we had talked about it. We was like, if we take this leap of faith to do what we need to do, it may get hard. What if we got to live in the car? What if we got to do this? We was preparing for the worst, which I don't encourage now. But at the time, that's where we were in our capacity. But my mindset was also, if you're committed to it, I'm committed to it. I'm committed to you. I'm committed to this process. So if we take the leap of faith, we're going to hold hands and we not going to let go. Okay, baby? I'm not finna be like Lil Rose and Titanic. You finna get up on this headboard with me. You get what I'm saying? We're going to find a way. If I got to get on your back, we can. There's so many different ways we could do this. And we both be straight. Because that's the goal in my mind. But when that wasn't the case there, it was like, I can't do nothing with this. So for myself, I was like, you know what? I believe so much in what I thought we believed in. I got to at least commit to this for myself, to doing this for myself, to being this person for myself, right? So again, if I have to now live in the car, if I got to, you know, all of this, I'm going to do what I'm going to do. So the weekend progresses, right? And come to find out, it was all just a little show for him, right? He thought it was going to be like again, manipulate me into submission and break me. Like he would always say to me, I don't understand, like, why I can't break you. I can't figure out how to break you. And I'm like, bitch, am I a horse? Like, you can't break me. It's not about breaking me. Build me up like I'm trying to do your raggedy ass. You get what I'm saying? And that's for some of y'all and y'all karmics. Like, that is the energy. Y'all dealing with people that ain't doing nothing but breaking y'all down. But you know what? When I said that, here's the lesson. And write this down. Even when you dealing with a motherfucker that wants to break you down, it's necessary. They may be coming with some ill intent, but God is still using them because, yes, the person that you are in that capacity has to be broken down so that you can sprout into who you're supposed to be. So even though he may have been talking about breaking my character or breaking my spirit, you was breaking down my understanding of, you know, or breaking down my vision of all of this potential that I saw in this foolery, right? And causing me to have to see you and myself in the real light, which was what was necessary to begin this severing and this dark night of the soul, right? So next few days, you know, we still trying to play hard, like, yeah, I said what I said, but you think we should get counseling? And I'm the person to where it's like, baby, if you ask me for a divorce, you're not going to have the opportunity to ask me again. I don't play about that. That's serious. Right? You don't say that unless you mean it. And it's like you not knowing all the time, the whole time, I prayed for a sign. So whatever plot you had and all of this to manipulate me, it was still used by God to put me where I needed to be, which was away from you. Okay? So I leave for that weekend, right? And I'm kind of out of the way. And at some point he was like, are you coming back? And I was like, oh, I was supposed to, but if I don't need to, you know, just let me know. And so I just ended up staying at one of my friend's house, you know. And then he was like, he ended up lying and was like, you know, well, we finna get out of the lease or whatever. And they saying, you got to come get your stuff. It was something to get me back, right? I don't know what the plot or the plan was, but it was trying to get me physically there, right? To get me there. But something was just like, don't go back. Don't go back. It was still stuff there that I had planned on going back to actually keep, that I wasn't throwing away. But it was just like, count it as a loss. It's good. Cut it off. Let it go. Boom. And at that point in time, I think I had like one suitcase full of clothes, maybe like a couple bags, and then a couple of bins of shoes. It was enough to do what I needed to do. And like I had told myself, I didn't want stuff all over my car at that time. Because if I was going to be living in it, sleeping in it, whatever, I didn't want to draw a lot of attention to the car. So I just needed a few items. And I understood at that point, you know, like I said in my last video, you know, or it wasn't my last video, one of the videos, you know, if it's something I hadn't used in over like a month, 2 months, I'm getting rid of it. I don't just keep all this stuff because it's really not necessary, and you understand that, right? So I'm going on. I got to stay focused, right? My mindset is just like, all right, just get through the weekend, get through this week, right? Because we still got a whole week of live recording. I'm finna go to Atlanta, right? So the whole time, he done called my folks, done went and lied to them, told them a whole bunch of stuff. To this day, I really don't know what exactly he said, but some to the extent dealing with like no and made it seem like I jumped off just the deep end and I just up and left them and everything else. And it's just like, no, none of that. But at the time, it was like I really couldn't pull my energy to like sit there and battle and go back and forth with them, because everybody that called me was never like, okay, what's your side of the story? It was like whatever story he had hyped up and told everybody, they believed it and was just like, you got to come back. We need to get you some help. And I'm like, what in the intervention is happening right now? This ain't that. I'm on the weekend trip with my friends. And on Monday, I would be prepared to like hit the road headed to Atlanta. Like, I'm going to work. Like, this ain't none of that. I ain't went rogue, like none of that. So in between the time of me being there and coming back, no, when I left that weekend, before I left for Atlanta, and the weekend he was supposed to have my daughter, he had sent a text and he was like, you know, I'm keeping her until further notice. And he had only had her like in his physical custody at that time because he was already due to have her for that weekend. And so with me being gone for that weekend and like that whole week coming up, there was so much, y'all, that had went down that was just like, when I tell y'all, it was just out of my control. Out of my control. And even when I came back, like, yeah, I saw my daughters and everything. Because even for my oldest daughter, like, that weekend, she happened to be with her father. So she wasn't there when it went down. But it was still just a sudden change for her because she went from overnight being with me to now living with her dad. And just kind of being back and forth with her, you know, grandma. And then, you know, me being stripped away from my baby who was still just sleeping up under me at that time. Like, it was just a complete, you know, everything was just like, when I tell you, I had to just breathe through it. And the only reason I think that I did not, like, really just put up a fight, just kick and, you know, do what I would normally do, like, in mother mode, right? Is because I understood the strategy behind what was happening at that time. And the true mother mode for me understood that if my children had somewhere to stay, even when I didn't, I would never rob them of the opportunity to have that safety and that security because of what I was going through or what was going on with me and their parents. You get what I'm saying? That was never my mindset. I was never the bitter baby mama. I don't get down like that. I don't get down like that, honey. If I don't fool with you, it ain't no feelings involved. It ain't no none of that. We're going to do what's best for these kids and we're going to go on about our business. And it's that on that. Ain't no fighting, ain't no drama, and it ain't no affecting our kids for the sake of what's going on in your heart that you don't want to deal with. You get what I'm saying? So even then, you know, it was very, very painful, like, going through that time, being by myself and just, you know, trying to bring myself to an even keel of what just happened, you know, figuring out what just happened, right? Dealing with the fact that my normal is not my normal no more, you know, dealing with the fact, again, that I'm seeing the ugly truth of who I'm dealing with, what I'm dealing with in a whole new form again, right? And it's just like, it was heavy, y'all. It was heavy. And like I said to y'all, I'm never so far removed from the feelings and, you know, the experience that I don't know how you feel. And this is why I do what I do. Right? Let me crank this card. This is why I do what I do. Because I understand, you know, for me, and a lot of times, and my journey had to be so different, y'all, because I have a different type of journey, y'all. I'm a life master number 11, right? And again, I'm still sending out my e-woo to like all of the if you are a master number 11, please connect with me. I've never met one, right? But I had to understand how to listen to God. I had to learn during this process how to hear God. I had to learn my gifts. And I had to learn that without the influence of other people. So that meant for me, again, when I say I was alone, still am alone. Nobody. No family, no nothing, no kids, no spouse, no nothing. Alone. And if I could probably write a book on all of the different ways that I could have thought of to maybe like to try to fix this, to change it, to make it go a different way, y'all. In every way, when I tell you like the God just like stopped it, because it was like, I have free will, but it's like, we're not even finna let you mess up your divine intervention right now. You get what I'm saying? Like, there was nothing. I couldn't do anything. I didn't have anything. I didn't have any resources. Even when it came down to it and we got the final divorce, everything that was said in the paperwork that was done, essentially they took the fact, or he took the situation that he put me in and used it against me. So it's like, you know the truth of what happened, and you know why you even ended up with the child, but whatever story you told your lawyer, the family, to everybody, they all teamed up and was like, we taking your side, we taking your back. Not knowing the truth of the situation. But in everything, we know that she loves her daughter, but at this time she's homeless and she's this and she's this. And at that time, I actually had like somewhere to stay. Like, I had proved everything to the court just to get some visitation, you know, to be able to get that in paper to see my baby. Because when I tell y'all, like, I understand, when I can empathize with anybody, even the dudes that's dealing with the bitter baby mamas. Flip the genders, but same situation, bro. Like, I get it. I get it. I feel it. And this is why I am an advocate for the queens remaining in their queen energy. We're not gonna be out here bitter and doing like that, acting like that, y'all. Even for, you know, all of the people within my that was supposed to be my help or support, my team that teamed up with, you know, that enemy off of something that he said, like, without even checking. Like, nobody had the mindset to be like, okay, you know, well, I would never, as a daughter or a son, you know, I wouldn't want to live without my mother, so I wouldn't make. Nobody thought like that. It was about attack, hurt, get her back, prove a point, leave her out to dry, based off of whatever story was told to them, y'all. Like I said, to this day, it ain't been revealed to me all the details yet. I'm sure it will. But either way it goes, I say all of this to say that the severing is always for a strategy. And if you do what you need to do, because some people may be so worried about, you know, what you're going to lose when you let go of whatever this is. And I'm telling you, that's the least of your worries. Because everything that you got to go now and address dealing with yourself, when I tell you you need this, buckets, backpacks, bags, everything else to handle and carry all of that, because it's a lot. Just to be able to heal energetically from what you've been, you know, attached to. Because now you have to train your subconscious. We talked about this. You have to train your subconscious to know how to live now. Not just survive. Not just be in this forever like battle or ego mode. Because now what you don't want to do, the last thing you want to do, is treat or, you know, inflict that same pain onto anybody else that this person or these people, this situation has done to you. Another lesson. This is why you heal. This is why it's happening, for your healing, okay? If you're asking God, why me? That's the question to ask, but it's really not. It's kind of like, why not me? Because you're so profound in who you are and you don't understand that yet, because you're not in that place in the cycle. And I want you to get there. But the sooner you take that leap of faith, the quicker you're going to learn and understand why you. You get what I'm saying? The quicker you're going to learn and understand why you, because your heart is built for it. Because whatever you come equipped with makes you built for it. And not to be built to stay in it and take it on, but to transmute it, to heal it. When you heal it within yourself, you destroy it in whatever energies, you know, put it onto you or projected it onto you. So that's why you have to come away from it, come out of it. There's no healing it being in it, sweetheart. I'm sorry to tell you. I'm sorry to tell you. But when God is trying to take you through this great severing and the dark night of the soul process, it is still for the sake of making things right for these people and with these people, but not in the way that you think it's going to happen. Because some of these people are not going to submit to the greatness that is within you until they learn their lesson. And they're not learning it and you want to know how you know that? Because they're constantly dragging you through this same old cycle with them, the one that they don't want to come out of. So in answer to, Terica, why are you so like, girl, you don't play, like you just, because of that. Because I've done a lot of work, y'all, to be where I am right now. I've given up this sense of normalcy that everybody rests in. And I don't know how y'all do it. Like, because even when I wasn't as evolved as I am now, I still couldn't rest in it. I still couldn't fit in. I still couldn't make some things make sense that was so easily accepted by everybody else. So no matter what, I just knew it wasn't for me. But just like, again, everybody else in this world, like, the reason why the majority are not going to this direction yet is because of all of the work it's going to take. And because of the process, the part of the process that's going to have you alone in this 3D realm. That's one of the biggest fears of people. But when I tell you, that's where healing resides. And you'll understand that once you get there, again, you're not alone. That's when you become acquainted with the Most High and the Most High powers. And you realize just how surrounded and loved and protected you truly are. And these people want nothing more than you to learn and discover every beautiful secret that lies within you as to who you are and why you came to this earth. Because the more you dive into that, the more you heal yourself, sweetheart, the more you allow yourself to be healed, the more you grow, the more you evolve, the more you manifest those beautiful things into this world, which is your call and your purpose. That's how you shine your light and you spread your light. That's how you feel better, okay? Because some of y'all just like, man, I just want to feel better. I'm tired of racking my mind. I don't know which way to go. Y'all trying to make this logic that y'all so used to applying to stuff make sense, and it just ain't working. I feel you. And I'm just sitting here telling you, like, I'm like the little genie in the movie that's on your shoulder that's real sarcastic. Like, bro, when you get done, still ain't gonna work. I love Cat Williams, right? And he has this one stand-up where he was talking about pretty much like the world, like you be stressing out, and he was doing this little song, and he was like, just be trying shit, won't work, trying shit, won't work, trying shit, switch it up, trying shit. Like that's just how you feel right now. And I'm the little genie that's just like, you keep trying it won't work, but I'm trying to tell you what will work when you take that leap of faith. That's when everything gonna work. Everything. That's when every question gonna get answered. That's when you gonna understand everything that seems so uncomprehendable right now. Because I'm telling you, if you have children, I don't know what your situation is, but it ain't no easy thing to just have to be stripped away like that, y'all. And I don't speak a lot on that. I don't speak until I'm released, because that's something that really, if there was anything within my journey to where I was like really just like resisting, that was the area. Because I was just like, man, listen, I don't know, like I gotta go. But God is working on that. And by the time these things work out and do what they need to do, honey, when I tell you, I ain't bragging or nothing, baby, but I was already a good mama. My kids love me. All my students, my kids, I have always had that good natural maternal energy, like earth mother goddess. It is me. So kids and animals, baby, they just roll over for me. Always. But especially now, they're going to understand and see their mother in an entirely different light, because that's the one thing about me. Just like I don't hold nothing back from y'all as far as honesty is concerned, the same goes for my kids. My kids will be able to see and witness everything, every part of my story, just like you will. And probably in more intimacy with them, because I want them to understand what this was about. what life is truly about. It ain't about half the things we making it about. Relationships and connections ain't about half the things that we making it about. And once you understand that and get yourself in the right cycle and put that momentum and energy towards you living your best life, living your most, high and elevated high vibrational life, I'm telling you, everything gonna work. You can't lose. You cannot lose. And as y'all continue to watch me, every part of my life finna show y'all that. It's finna back up, since everybody in the world needs to be like you gotta show me so I believe. Y'all gonna learn how to have some faith too. But honey, listen. My life finna show y'all in every way why you should trust God if God is taking you through this process, however it looks for you. And by the time you get through and heal and grow, I promise you, you ain't gonna be asking me no more like, girl, why you so like, because you're gonna be the same way. And for the people, this is the crazy part, y'all. For the people that truly know me, when I tell you I am just a goofy, silly, funny, nurturing, loving, easy to be around, like I am the zen of the room. In every room. Like I lie to y'all not. Like everybody that comes around me, whether you know me or not, and it's so funny because people always confirm it. They say it out loud. It's like something about your energy just so calm. And strangers say it all the time. And I'm like, I know, girl, it's just me. Like, I know, sir. Like, it's just, I don't know. Like, it's just me. And it's nothing I'm trying to do, but it's just who I am. So you, like I said, being around me, you're going to be better. You're going to get better. Because I am such a loving and nurturing energy, and I give so much. I know that. But what I also know now, in all of these lessons that I learned during this time, in dealing with people who did not appreciate it, but they abused it instead, I learned how to protect it. And that's what my severing process had to teach me. I had to come away, far enough away to now be able to turn around and see where was the problem. To go to each situation, each story, see what I did wrong, what I allowed, what I should not have. You get what I'm saying? Talked about the memories in the other videos. Those are not in vain. You have to visit those memories to understand what lessons you missed in these stories, y'all. And this is why I tell my stories, my lessons. Everything happens for a reason. If you admire anything about who I am and where I am in my process right now, I want you to know that I was where you are right now. Scared of being alone, trying to figure it out, worried I ain't gonna have no God, no understanding. But I promise you, it ain't gonna be none of that. It ain't gonna be easy for you. And I'm not even gonna speak that on you, because depending on how you surrender to your process, it can be easy. But what I will say, the challenge will be to train your subconscious, because your subconscious is the part of you that's going to want to fight a lot of this process. Because again, all the subconscious does is hold on to what you've been taught. And maybe what you coming out of, and then what your energy, has picked up and taught your subconscious, it ain't it. So it's going to take a lot to really just pour that out, and constantly talking to yourself, affirming yourself, reminding yourself of who you are, what you're not going to do, what you will do. And by the time you get there and your subconscious aligns with that, that's why I say you're going to be just like me. And people going to be like, dang, they don't play. They got a whole new, because your subconscious going to be like, no, we said what we said. We know we used to think this, but now we said what we said. You get what I'm saying? Like, that's how we all coming. So y'all embrace this process. The point of me telling you this story today was for you to hear those lessons and to understand more and more why you should embrace wherever you are in your process right now. Don't go back. Don't try to go back. Because you ain't going to do nothing but bruise yourself up, knock yourself across the head trying to get back. No. You're in the right place where you're supposed to be at this time to keep moving forward. And forward only. Okay? And forward only. going to get a couple cards. Let's get a little encouragement to end this. This is the Priestess of Light Oracle. And these are very, very beautiful. I think I talked about these before. I resonated with them as soon as I touched them. But these are very, very good for light workers, people like us, star seeds. They have very, very encouraging messages of protection, so you remember throughout your process that you are protected. You are protected to take any leap of faith that you're being pushed into. And just know that your path is very, very clearly laid out for you, okay? You know what to do, and don't fight yourself on it. Give yourself, again, the grace to make what you feel may be a mistake. Because honestly, planning at this time in life, baby, you might as well throw it out the window. If you are starting your Great Severing and your Dark Night of the Soul, ain't no planning, baby. You ain't doing nothing but following God. I promise you. You ain't doing nothing but following God at this time. Okay? So don't even frustrate yourself trying to overplan or, again, apply that same logic, because we're going into a whole new world where that type of frequency doesn't work. It doesn't work. And slowly but surely you're understanding that, and you're being separated from what doesn't work. All right, could I have one more card, please? Since I saw 222 earlier, let's take 2 cards. Thank you. Healing the heart, the power of self-love. That's so beautiful. Look, I'm telling y'all, this is what that process is about. And God just confirmed that for you. This process, this severing, is about healing your heart. And it is about the the power of self-love. The power of self-love, okay? And this one says, river of blessings, releasing constraints. Beautiful. You're about to see a river of blessings as you release these constraints, okay? I'm telling y'all, nothing but good can happen to you once you go through this process. And that's a guarantee. It may not feel good all the time, but everything is good. It's all good, baby. All is well. Hear that in your spirit. All is well. A girl walked up to me randomly in 2017 in a rehearsal and said that to me. She was like, she walked up to me like somebody was like, or God had said something real deep to her. She was like, God told me to tell you. She was like, all is well. And that's it. And she walked off. I said, thank you. And shortly after, no, this was 2018. And shortly after that, all that stuff started. And so I constantly had to say to myself, all is well, reminding myself when it got to the scary part, all is well. This feels bad, but all is well. It looks bad, but all is well. It feels scary, but all is well. You know what I'm saying? So, I'm just telling you, one more time, if you're in doubt about this process, if it's necessary, if, good will come from this, because everybody is trying to make you feel like you're doing something wrong. I know how it goes, y'all. And that's just because they don't want you to take control of your power. They don't want you to tap in. But once you do, you're going to heal your heart from all of those things these people did to you. The heart supplies blood to the body. It helps with the function of everything else. Just like the brain tells the body what to do, the body cannot move without the blood and the circulation flowing through. So the heart and the logic, the heart and the mind, guys. In this process, when you look, the restraints a lot of times are in our mind, our subconscious mind, that tell us what we cannot do. I talked about that in the other video. Go watch it. But when you get that heart and that mind balanced together, baby, look, I'm trying to tell you, this is how, if you admire me anyway, how does she have this confidence? I went through my dark night of the soul and I found this balance. I found this balance within. And it's one of the greatest decisions I've ever made in my life. Ever. Trust in God. So the same for you, baby. I encourage you. I love you. I love you with the unconditional love of God. Because you're worthy of it. And you're worthy of the best and most beautiful life. The best and most abundant of relationships and connections and opportunities. It's for you. Nothing less. And don't settle for anything less. Okay? So let the severing happen. You're going to be okay. Alright? I love y'all. Thank y'all for sticking out for this video. Don't forget to like, subscribe. You down with the tribe? Okay. I love y'all. Bye.